Hi everyone, I'm Michio Tower, a realtor in North Idaho. Welcome back to the channel. If you're dreaming of becoming a homeowner, congratulations. That's a huge and exciting goal. But as a first-time buyer, you probably have a lot of questions. And one of the most important topics to understand is how your credit score plays a massive role in getting a mortgage and achieving that dream. In this video, we are diving deep into credit scores and their direct impact your mortgage journey. We will break down what credit scores are, why they matter to lenders, how they affect your interest rates and loan terms, and most importantly, what you can do to ensure your credit score is in the best shape possible before you apply for a mortgage. So, grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's get started.
Hey, welcome. If you're dreaming about owning your first home, you know it's an exciting journey. But let's be real, it can also feel a little complicated. That's exactly why we're here. Think of this as your personal guide to cracking one of the most important parts of the whole process.
So let's just start with this one big question. What's the single most powerful number that can either swing the door to your dream home wide open or kind of slam it shut? Yeah, you've probably guessed it. It's your credit score. That little 3-digit number is the key.
Okay, so let's dive right in. To get ready for this whole home buying marathon, you gotta know where the starting line is. So first things first, we need to get a handle on what a credit score actually is and why it's so incredibly fundamental.
You know, in the simplest terms, a credit score is just a number that tells lenders how likely you are to pay back money you've borrowed. The absolute best way to think about it, it's your financial report card. It's a quick, simple summary of your entire history with debt, all rolled into one easy-to-read grade.
So how is that grade even calculated? Well, the most common one, the FICO Score, looks at 5 main things. But just look at the 2 biggest pieces of the pie here. Payment history, that's 35%, is literally just about paying your bills on time. And amounts owed at 30% is all about how much debt you're carrying. You add those 2 together, that's 65% of your entire score right there. The other factors matter, for sure, but these 2 are the real heavy hitters.
So now we know what it is, but let's talk about the stakes because they are high. Why does this one little number carry so much weight, especially when a mortgage for hundreds of thousands of dollars is on the line?
Okay, here's the bottom line, the most crucial point. A higher score makes you look like a less risky borrower. It's that simple. And when you're less of a risk in their eyes, lenders reward you. How? With a lower interest rate. It is a direct and incredibly powerful connection.
And we're not just talking about a few bucks here and there. Over the 30-year life of a typical mortgage, even a tiny difference in your interest rate can easily add up to tens of thousands of dollars in savings. This is, without a doubt, the single biggest financial impact your credit score is going to have on your life.
And the benefits don't even stop there. A strong score also dramatically boosts your chances of just getting approved in the first place. It gives you more types of loans to choose from, and it can lead to way better terms, like lower fees. You know, your credit score is basically the first impression you make on a lender. You want to make sure it's a great one. So let's think about the whole credit score landscape like a map. It really helps to know where you are before you can plan your route, right? So let's take a look at the different zones and see what they really mean for your journey. Okay, looking at this breakdown, you can see the real-world difference. If you're up here in the excellent range, 740 and above, you're golden. Lenders will literally be competing for your business. In the good range, you're still going to get some really competitive offers. But once you dip into fair, you're almost certainly going to face higher rates. And down in the poor range, let's say below 620, getting a standard mortgage becomes really challenging.
And that brings us to what I think is the most important part of all of this, your action plan. Look, if your score isn't where you want it to be, do not worry. You absolutely have the power to change it. So think of this as your training plan to get that number in fighting shape.
First things first, and this is totally non-negotiable. Pay every single bill on time. It's the biggest piece of your score, remember. Now, steps 2 and 3 are a team. Work on paying down your credit card balances. And specifically, you want to aim to use less than 30% of your available credit. Why? Because when lenders see maxed out cards, it's a major red flag. All right, next up, some smart, strategic moves. Try to avoid opening a whole bunch of new credit accounts right before you apply for a mortgage. It can just make you look a little bit risky. Also, and this one surprises people, resist the urge to close old credit cards you don't use. Keeping them open actually helps the length of your credit history and your utilization ratio. And finally, you gotta be your own detective. You are entitled to get your credit reports for free once a year from all 3 major bureaus. The place to go is annualcreditreport.com. Read through them super carefully. If you find a mistake, and believe me, they happen, dispute it right away. Getting an error like that removed can give your score a surprisingly quick and significant boost. Okay, you've done the hard work, your score is looking solid, and you're feeling ready. We've made it to the final checkpoint, actually talking to a mortgage lender. And I want you to think of this not as a test, but as a strategic conversation.
Getting pre-approved for a mortgage is just so important for 2 main reasons. First, it tells you exactly how much house you can really afford. And second, it shows sellers that you are a serious, prepared buyer, which gives you a huge advantage in a competitive market. And hey, even if you're not quite ready, talking to a lender a few months early can give you some amazing guidance for that final push.
So, in the end, your financial story is being written right now with every choice you make. And your credit score, that's the headline. The steps you take today are going to determine exactly what that headline says about you. By taking control of this one powerful number, you are truly taking control of your path to that dream home.